Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're tackling a really mind-bending question, maybe one of the biggest. Are you the only consciousness that truly exists?
It's a heavy one. And our whole deep dive today comes from a pretty fascinating critique found in Anubhav Srivastava's book, Nothing Everything, Mind-Bending Philosophical Theory of Everything.
Right. And our goal here is really to look hard at the Copenhagen interpretation, the quantum idea that things aren't real until they're measured or observed.
And show why, if you take that idea too literally, it leads you straight into this huge logical mess called the solipsism problem.
Yeah, it sounds super abstract, but it actually ties into this feeling of like personal power almost.
The standard Copenhagen view says reality is just possibilities until someone looks. Let's use that town analogy they mentioned. Say you're deciding between town A and town B. The moment you choose B, you observe it, and bam, the possibilities collapse.
Family function collapses, yeah. And for you, town A and everything that might have happened there just vanishes. It seems like you just shaped reality. Feels powerful, right? But wait a sec. Here's the immediate problem, the snag.
What about the other observers?
Exactly. If your look makes town B real and erases town A, what about, I don't know, the people already in town A, the shopkeeper, the mayor?
Were they just waiting in some quantum fuzz until you potentially looked their way? It doesn't make sense.
That's the core issue, isn't it? This is where that solipsism idea that only your mind is sure to exist really starts to fall apart logically.
Because if your observation collapses reality, why can things still happen that affect you? Things started by people you didn't observe.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, the book points this out clearly. Say you pick town B, so town A isn't real for you anymore. But what if someone, say a terrorist as the book posits, plans something in town A?
Uh-oh.
Right? They could still come over to town B and impact your reality. Their choice, made in a place you supposedly unrealized, still affects you profoundly.
Which shows their reality, their choices, are just as solid as yours.
Precisely. So the Copenhagen interpretation, taken this way, gives us zero consistent rules for whose observation actually collapses the wave function. If it's everyone's, how does that even work?
Yeah, you end up with billions of universes constantly popping in and out based on who looked where. It seems chaotic.
Or you get this weird NTC paradox. If your observation brings others into reality, does that make everyone else just background characters in your story until you interact?
Like non-player characters in a video game.
Kind of, yeah. It sets up this bizarre hierarchy where your consciousness is somehow primary, but that flies in the face of everything we experience.
And physical reality, too. Like the book says, if someone throws a rock at you, you feel it. That pain is proof that their existence, is just as real as yours.
The world clearly unfolds through the combined actions and realities of billions of people, all equally real observers. That interconnectedness is key.
Okay, so let's push this even further. What about things that happen completely without any specific observer needing to be there?
The earthquake example. This is a major challenge.
Right. An earthquake follows geological rules, massive forces. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't need you watching it. It just happens.
And that really crumbles the simplistic observer-centric view, doesn't it? If you make reality real by looking, why can't you stop the earthquake?
Or start one, for that matter.
Exactly. Who or what observed the earthquake into existence? It clearly operates based on physical laws that existed way before humans were even around to observe anything.
It shows the dependence goes the other way, really.
That's the deeper truth, yes. Your ability to observe depends on reality already being there. You needed parents, geology, physics, evolution, all of it, just to be an observer.
So reality shapes the observer, fundamentally, not the other way around.
Which brings us to another huge logical knot, the infinite regression of observers.
Ah, right. If an observer needs to be collapsed into existence by another observer, like, say, your parents observed you into being.
Then who observed them? And their parents. You go back and back, but eventually you hit a wall. Who observed the very first observer?
The framework just breaks down. It needs a starting point, an unobserved observer, or a reality that just was, independent of observation.
Which the strict Copenhagen interpretation doesn't allow for.
So, wrapping this up, what Anubhav Srivastava's work really highlights here is that reality isn't just about your perspective. It has to be this incredibly complex structure.
One that can hold countless observers, all equally real, interacting, and accommodate these vast, independent physical processes governed by their own laws.
It flips the script entirely. Your existence, your choices, even your ability to observe are all nested within this larger universe.
You depend on it. It doesn't solely depend on you.
So the final thought for you, listening right now, if your own consciousness isn't the anchor creating reality, but is instead dependent on this vast, complex universe, well, how solid is the ground beneath your feet?
Anubhav Srivastava's work suggests maybe you're not the sole author, but perhaps a vital, incredible character in a story much, much bigger than any single perspective. Something to chew on.